I can't help but admit that I'm head over heels for this incredibly hot guy at my gym. Every time I walk through those doors, my heart races in anticipation of catching a glimpse of him. He's got this magnetic aura that draws everyone's attention, and I'm no exception. It all started a few months ago when I joined the gym in an attempt to get back in shape. Little did I know that my fitness journey would lead me to an unexpected infatuation. From the moment I saw him, I was captivated by his chiseled features and confident demeanor. He exuded an air of mystery that left me utterly intrigued. But here's the twist. He seems to despise my very existence. I can't pinpoint what I did to earn his disdain, but it's painfully evident that he doesn't think highly of me. Every time I muster the courage to strike up a conversation or even offer a friendly smile, he brushes me off with a curt nod or a disinterested glance. It's not just his cold attitude that's driving me crazy. It's the fact that he seems repelled by my touch. Once, while adjusting the weights near him, my hand accidentally brushed against his arm. The look he shot me could have frozen fire. I wanted to apologize, to explain that it was unintentional, but his icy gaze held me back. Despite his obvious aversion to me, I can't seem to shake off my feelings. I find myself daydreaming about moments where he actually acknowledges my presence, where we share a laugh or even where our hands accidentally touch again, this time sparking a connection rather than repulsion. My friends have tried to talk me out of this obsession, telling me that there are plenty of fish in the sea and that I shouldn't waste my time on someone who clearly isn't interested. But it's easier said than done when your heart races every time you see that sculpted figure working out, sweat glistening on his forehead. I've even considered switching gyms to escape this one-sided attraction, but my determination to improve my fitness has kept me rooted in place. And who knows, maybe one day he'll see a different side of me, a side that breaks through his barriers and sparks something more than disdain. For now, I'll continue my workouts, stealing glances at him when he's not looking, and nursing my unrequited desires in silence. Maybe, just maybe, fate will intervene and turn this tale of unrequited love into something more. But until then, I'll be content with stealing moments of his presence from afar. Just when I thought my one-sided infatuation was destined to remain in the shadows, something unexpected happened. It was a regular Wednesday afternoon at the gym, with the usual rhythm of weights clanging and treadmills whirring. I was lost in my own world, focused on my workout, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Startled, I turned around, and there he was, the hot guy I had been pining over for months. "Hey," he said, his voice surprisingly warm and inviting. I blinked in surprise, my heart doing a somersault as I tried to process what was happening. He was actually talking to me. "Oh, hey," I managed to stammer out, trying to keep my cool despite the whirlwind of emotions inside me. "I've noticed you around here quite a bit," he continued, his eyes locking onto mine. "You're pretty dedicated to your workout." My mind raced as I struggled to come up with a coherent response. Was this really happening? The guy who had seemingly despised my existence was now striking up a conversation with me? "Yeah, I try to stay consistent," I replied, attempting to sound casual. "It's important to me." He nodded, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips.
"I respect that. It takes real dedication to stay committed."
We chatted for a few minutes about our fitness routines, our goals, and even shared a few laughs. It was surreal, like stepping into an alternate reality where my fantasies were coming true. As our conversation flowed, I couldn't help but notice that his demeanor was different from what I had imagined. He was engaging, friendly, and surprisingly easy to talk to. Before we knew it, the conversation had to end as he had to head to another section of the gym. But he didn't just vanish into the crowd like he used to. He gave me a genuine smile and said, "It was nice talking to you. See you around."
I nodded, my heart doing a victory dance.
"Definitely. See you around." As he walked away, my mind was a whirlwind of emotions. Could it be that my persistent determination had finally broken through his initial reservations? Was there a chance that my fantasies could evolve into something real? Over the next few weeks, our interactions became more frequent. We exchanged smiles, brief hellos, and even struck up conversations whenever our paths crossed. It was like a dream come true, watching his icy demeanor thaw and transform into genuine warmth. While our interactions were far from romantic, I couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, my feelings weren't as one-sided as I had believed. Maybe he had seen a side of me that intrigued him, just as he had intrigued me from the start. Whatever the future held, one thing was certain. The hot guy at the gym was no longer a distant fantasy. He was a real person, with complexities and layers, and I was excited to unravel the mystery that was him. Who knew what adventures awaited us beyond the weight racks and cardio machines? Only time would tell, but I was ready to embrace whatever came my way. As the weeks turned into months, my interactions with the hot guy at the gym continued to evolve. What started as a simple hey had blossomed into friendly chats, shared workout tips, and occasional laughter. It was as if a new chapter had begun in my gym journey, one that held the promise of genuine connection and maybe even something more. Our conversations became longer and more personal. We talked about our interests outside of the gym, our favorite books and movies, and even our hopes and dreams. It was amazing to discover that we had more in common than I could have ever imagined. We laughed about our shared quirks and bonded over our similar workout struggles. One day, as we sat on adjacent benches catching our breath after a particularly intense session, he turned to me with a grin. "You know," he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief, "I used to think you were just another gym goer who would come and go. But now I can't imagine my workouts without our chats." I chuckled, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. "Likewise. You've definitely made the gym a lot more interesting." He leaned back, a contemplative look in his eyes. "You've also made me realize that sometimes first impressions can be completely off." I couldn't help but grin. It was like a tiny victory, knowing that he had once misjudged me, but had now come to appreciate our interaction. As the months went by, our conversations grew more frequent and more personal. We'd meet up for a post-workout smoothie or grab a coffee on weekends. It was during one of these outings that the topic of our initial interactions came up. "You know, when we first met, I have to admit I thought you weren't interested in talking to me at all," I confessed, stirring my latte. He chuckled, looking sheepish. "I have to apologize for that. I was going through a rough patch back then, and I guess I projected my feelings onto you. It wasn't fair." I appreciated his honesty, and my heart swelled with understanding. "It's okay. We all have our moments. What matters is that we got past that." He nodded, his eyes meeting mine. "I'm really glad we did." Our connection continued to deepen, and it was clear that we both enjoyed each other's company. The gym, once just a place for workouts, had transformed into a backdrop for our growing friendship. One evening, as we sat on a bench watching the sunset after an especially intense workout, he turned to me with a serious expression. "You know, I've come to realize that you're not just a gym buddy to me." I raised an eyebrow, intrigued.
Oh, what am I then?
He smiled, his gaze softening. "You're someone who's managed to brighten up my days, someone I look forward to seeing." My heart skipped a beat, and I couldn't help the grin that spread across my face. "Likewise, you've become a pretty important part of my gym routine, too." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over us, he reached out and gently took my hand. "Would you be interested in grabbing dinner with me this weekend? Outside of the gym, I mean?" I felt a rush of excitement and a tinge of nervousness. "I'd love to." And just like that, our connection took another leap forward. From acquaintances to friends, and now perhaps something more, our journey at the gym had led us to an unexpected destination. A place where two hearts, once distant and guarded, had found a way to beat in sync. As we walked out of the gym hand in hand, I couldn't help but marvel at how far we had come. The journey was far from over, but with each step we took, I knew that whatever lay ahead, I was ready to embrace it with an open heart. The days leading up to our dinner date were filled with a mix of excitement and nervous anticipation. I couldn't believe that the hot guy from the gym had asked me out, and I was determined to make the most of our time together. However, life has a funny way of testing our emotions, and one fateful afternoon at the gym, I found myself facing a challenge I hadn't expected. It was a regular workout session when I spotted him across the gym floor, engaged in conversation with another guy. My heart sank as an unfamiliar emotion crept in. Jealousy. They seemed to be engrossed in their discussion, sharing laughs and animated gestures. My mind began to race, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that my newfound connection with him was threatened. As I continued my workout, my focus wavered. Thoughts of their interactions swirled in my head, and I could feel the jealousy gnawing at me. I tried to dismiss it as irrational, reminding myself that he was allowed to have other friends. But deep down, the emotion was powerful and unsettling. After my workout, I headed to the locker room, hoping to gather my thoughts and regain my composure. Just as I was about to leave, I saw him walking in my direction. My heart skipped a beat, and before I could stop myself, I blurted out, "Who was that guy you were talking to?" He looked taken aback by my sudden question, his brows furrowing in confusion. "Oh, him. He's just a friend from work. We were catching up." I tried to mask my insecurity with a casual smile, but it must have come across as forced. "Oh, okay, just curious." His expression softened and he stepped closer. "Is something bothering you? You seem a bit off." I hesitated, my mind racing as I debated whether to reveal my feelings. But in the end, honesty won out. I guess I felt a bit jealous seeing you talk to him. It's silly, I know. His eyes widened in surprise, and then a soft chuckle escaped his lips.
"Jealous? You really think I'd be interested in someone else?"
I felt a mix of relief and embarrassment flood through me. I don't know. It's just, you mean a lot to me, and seeing you with someone else triggered something, I guess? He reached out, gently placing a hand on my arm. I appreciate your honesty, and I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. You're special to me, too, and there's no need to be jealous. His words were reassuring, and I felt a weight lift off my chest. We stood there for a moment, his hand still resting on my arm, and I couldn't help but smile. Thanks for understanding, I said, my voice softer now. He smiled back, his gaze warm and sincere.
Of course. And just so you know, you're the one I'm looking forward to spending time with.
As we left the locker room, hand in hand once again, I realized that my bout of jealousy had taught me an important lesson. It was a reminder that emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, are a natural part of any relationship. And while jealousy might have momentarily clouded my vision, it also brought us closer, allowing us to communicate openly and deepen our connection. As we continued our journey, both at the gym and beyond, I was determined to embrace every emotion that came our way, knowing that it was all a part of navigating the complex terrain of love and companionship. The days leading up to our dinner date were filled with a renewed sense of excitement. I was eager to spend more time with the hot guy from the gym, and our recent conversation had only strengthened our connection. But there was a twist in our story that I hadn't anticipated, a twist that would help me confront my jealousy head on. A few days before our planned dinner, he approached me with a sheepish grin.
Hey, I've been thinking, he began, his eyes searching mine. I want you to know how important you are to me, and I want you to feel secure about it.
I raised an eyebrow, curious about where he was going with this. Okay, I'm listening. He took a deep breath, his expression earnest.
How about we make a deal?
I want you to know that you're the one I'm interested in, and to show you that I thought we could both invite a friend to join us on our dinner date. I blinked in surprise, his proposal catching me off guard. Wait, you want us to double date? He nodded, a hopeful look in his eyes. Exactly. It's not about avoiding jealousy, but about embracing it and showing you that you're the one I want to spend time with. What do you think? I was taken aback by his thoughtfulness and the genuine concern he had for my feelings. It was clear that he had put a lot of consideration into this idea. As I looked into his eyes, I saw sincerity and a hint of vulnerability, and my heart warmed. That's actually a really sweet gesture, I admitted, a small smile tugging at my lips. I appreciate the effort you're putting in to make me feel important. He grinned, relief evident on his face.
I'm glad you think so. So what do you say? Do you have a friend you'd like to bring along?
I nodded, a newfound sense of security washing over me. Yeah, I do. I think this could be a fun and meaningful experience. And so we set our plan in motion. Our double date was a blend of laughter, good food, and insightful conversations. Sitting across from him, watching him interact with both me and my friend, I felt a deeper connection forming between us. It was evident that he genuinely cared about making me feel valued and secure, and that meant more to me than I could express. As the evening came to a close, we said our goodbyes, and he walked me to my car. Under the twinkling city lights, he turned to me, his eyes searching mine. I hope tonight helped ease your mind a bit, he said softly, his fingers brushing against mine. It definitely did, I reply, a genuine smile spreading across my face. You didn't have to go through all this trouble, but I'm really glad you did. He chuckled, his smile matching mine. Well, you're worth it. As I drove home that night, I realized that my journey of confronting jealousy had brought me closer to him in ways I hadn't anticipated. It was a testament to the strength of our connection and his genuine efforts to make me feel important. Our gym story had taken an unexpected turn, leading us down a path of understanding, trust, and a deeper appreciation for each other. And so, with a heart that felt lighter and more secure, I look forward to the next chapter in our evolving relationship, one that was built on honesty, consideration, and the willingness to face challenges together.